Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video out in the truck. I'm out working right now, but just wanted to take a few minutes to make a video. If you can just make sure that you like and subscribe down at the bottom, leave any questions or any suggestions or for future videos. Really appreciate it. So today I wanted to do a video on, I guess, where I was with OCD years ago, like when I was at my worst, and to where I am now, just to kind of give people some hope, right? Because I think there's this thing with OCD where a lot of people feel like it's something that kind of just takes over your life, and you're never going to be able to get anywhere or achieve goals or live the life that you want, right? Now, a couple things. When I was really stuck, I always thought like I had just lost myself, like I disappeared. I'm like, who am I? Like I'm where is that person that I know? It's like I was just a shell. Like it's like the person who I was didn't even exist, right? And I always wanted that person to come back. So two things. One, once the anxiety diminishes over time through bringing it for the ride, and then using rational thinking like REBT to break down your beliefs over time, your personality starts to reemerge. But the person that you were before you got chronically stuck is actually the person that got you there. So that person is not who you actually want to be. You want to become a new version of yourself, right? And that's something that I had to accept. And I also had to accept that I had OCD. I will always have OCD, and generally it's going to be a part of my life, right? And there may be times in my life where I can have ups or downs, or maybe feel a certain way to a higher degree than other people because I have OCD, right? Now, when my OCD was the worst, so right before it became the worst, I'll kind of tell you where my life was. I was compulsively avoiding almost every food that exists. Like, I was eating a very strict diet. It was an anti-inflammatory, it was called an anti-inflammatory diet. So I had no wheat, no beans, no grain at all. I didn't have any peppers, I didn't have any tomatoes. It was literally just veggies, and I did no fruit at all. And then I did grass-fed meat, and then like beets and sweet potatoes. Pretty much beets and sweet potatoes, avocados, and I didn't even eat eggs. I was just eating chicken or grass-fed beef. Like, that's it. And then I would no seasonings really, besides I would use honey mustard, which is really good on sweet potatoes, just so you know. But it's like all I ate. I was in pretty good shape. I was certified. I got certified to be a yoga teacher because I wanted to learn how to control my anxiety through yoga and exercise. So I was doing yoga probably 2 hours a day. I was exercising an hour a day. I was waking up in the morning, writing affirmations. I'm the best in the company, I'm the best in the country, I'm the best in my industry. I was doing sales ones. I would do goals compulsively, and then I was doing it's been so long. I was doing like chants, like for yoga. So like Om Gom Ganapataye Namaha, may the elephant deity remove all obstacles. Om Berg Barvaswaha Tat Savitor Vareniam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Dio Yo Nahat Prachodaya. I was doing Sanskrit. I was doing those chants 10 times over, and I would have my prayer beads, and I would hold them and move them while I was doing it. Then I would meditate for 10 minutes every day, and then I would do breathing, Wim Hof. I'd do 50 breaths like that over and over and over and over and over and over, and then I would focus on my breathing. Usually I'd focus on the top of my head, move all the way down to my body, and then I was taking probably 20-30 different supplements at the same time. I was avoiding alcohol at one point, and then I wasn't, right? I was, obviously avoiding, cigarettes. I was avoiding caffeine. I was avoiding coffee. I was avoiding energy drinks. I was avoiding pretty much anything that caused me anxiety, and I was doing anything and everything to make my anxiety go away. And when my anxiety got super bad, leading up to all these things, I ended up, and some people have heard my story, I had some hernias, some medical problems, and then after the surgery, that's when I got chronically stuck in my breathing 24 hours. Now, before I met Rob, I probably had a year and a half period, maybe 2 years almost, with after the surgery, where I didn't have any help. I went to a therapist, like a talk therapist, a cognitive behavioral therapist, hypnotism. I did EMDR. I was researching the cranial surgery. I was compulsively searching on Google 24/7 trying to figure something out. I went and did ketamine injections. I did ketamine injections for 3 days. They injected me like in my muscle. That was mostly just getting high for hours when they were injected it. I don't know what that stuff did. It helped my anxiety while I was on it, like a Xanax or something like that. I was, at one point, I was compulsively drinking like every single day. I was taking ketamine 10 times a day, prescribed by a doctor. I was just laying down watching Netflix. I was going to work and then coming back home and laying down. The only time I didn't feel anxiety was when I would sleep, and even in my sleep I was having dreams about it. And then I would wake up within 30 seconds, chronically stuck. Maybe when I would eat or have sex, maybe I would have little breaks where I didn't feel, because I was really in the moment. I didn't feel that anxiety. But other than that, it was 24/7, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I thought that if I didn't stop, focusing on my breathing, something bad happened. And then because of my 3 hernias, I ended up focusing on my saliva production. And I would go from my saliva to body sensations to that. I experienced headaches, eye aches, body aches, stomach cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, panic attacks. I was so worried about having a panic attack that I was just, I definitely had a panic disorder and generalized anxiety disorder as well, along with the OCD. I was very just, that's why I got fixated on my breathing too, is I was just so afraid if I didn't control my breathing that I would have a panic attack. And I was afraid that if I had a panic attack, that I would end up down spiraling, into depression and end up killing myself. And it was just a vicious cycle, right? So that's where I was at my worst, right? So at the time I had a relationship with someone who, I really cared about at the time. And I ended up, that relationship didn't end up working out. I had a pretty good job before the anxiety got really bad. I had like 50, I had a bunch of employees working for me, but I was still, anxious all the time. And, I ended up quitting my job and moving to a different one because my stress was so bad. And I ended up moving across the country to be in a relationship with someone that, I didn't really know super well, because I was so afraid to be by myself, and I was afraid that I would lose them because it was someone that I cared about, stuff like that, yada, yada. And, you can guess what my themes are, right? ROCD was my, theme. And then health OCD as well. Health OCD was a pretty big one. I was compulsively reading the Bible, compulsively reading the Bhagavad Gita. I was, doing chants in Sanskrit. I was, and I had so many. I already mentioned Google, compulsively looking at Google, stuff on Google. I got to the point where, I had like 4, 5, 6 hours a day of just compulsions. And, I was reading, I read a book on vitamins. I read a book on foods that helped cure cancer, anxiety. I read a book on essential oils. I read a book on, holy crap, like, golly, every single thing you can imagine to help with anything. I got certified in touch for health therapy, kinesiology, because it's supposed to help with your health. And then, I have a 200-hour YTT yoga teacher. I got a certification in guided imagery facilitation. I had like the crystal bowls, and I was doing all that stuff. I was in it. I was like, anything and everything that I can do to get rid of anxiety, to make my life, better. And my whole life was fixated and focused on this thing, right? Now, fast forward, it's been 6 years, my life now, right? So my life now, I almost never experience anxiety, and when I do, it's for very short periods. If I have like really, big situations in my life that are that can be difficult, like deaths, or maybe something in business that happens, or financial situations, things that can be really stressful, I can get kind of irritated. Sometimes maybe it gives me a headache. I can get a little pissed off. If I do get anxious, it's usually for a short time, with 5-10 minutes. Maybe if I go on a roller coaster, maybe if someone is almost hits me with a car, if I go to walk across the street, just like pretty normal stuff. Like when you do public speaking, you get a little uncomfortable. Right now I have a job where I'm a regional for a pretty large renewable energy company. I own a rental car business. I have properties that I rent. I own a home permanent lighting business. I own a hemp genetics business. I'm in the process of getting licensed to do home insurance and car insurance. I'm just, I'm pretty busy all the time. I work out 3 to 5 times a week. I have a relationship with someone where we've had ups and downs, just like any normal relationship, but really like my relationship is just in such a good place, and there's no animosity, there's no jealousy, there's no arguing. Everything is just so great. I'm about to have my first kid in September. I have currently, probably between all my businesses and employees I work with, probably about over 50 people that work for me. I do public speaking on a regular basis. I recently was just at a national solar sales competition, where our team, I thought, had won. We won second place. We did our best. Life is very different. It's day to day. I don't really have anxiety. I don't really have too many intrusive thoughts. It's almost to the point where if I have a thought, and even if it is intrusive, it's not considered intrusive to me, because I've shifted my mindset so much on so many things, where if something comes up, it's a thing where I'm able to, look at it and be like, well, yeah, worst case, yeah, that happens, whatever, and I don't obviously do that in the moment, because that's a compulsion. But what I'm saying is if something comes up, it's kind of a thing where, unless it causes a problem, I don't ever mess with it, and generally I don't really have anxiety, and it's a pretty amazing place to be in, right? Whereas before, I was just having such a hard time, and I was struggling so much. So now I'll tell you the things that I had to do to get there. They weren't easy. I think that I was a pretty difficult case compared to a lot of people. I think that I was very lucky to have support and have Rob and Nick to be able to help me get to where I am today. I think that I also one of the biggest reasons why I was successful is because I was willing to change any aspect of myself in order to become a better person, or not necessarily better, but someone who could grow, right? And I was willing to change those aspects and just go all in. Like if Rob was like, hey, do this, 90% of the time I said yes. 10% I was like, man, I'm not doing what he says, because that's what, no one does everything that Rob says except for Nick. No, I'm just kidding. Probably the last one. But it's a thing where you have to be willing to make changes. You've got to read the books. You've got to push yourself to be uncomfortable. You have to do disputing on a regular basis on paper, for a period of time, and of course give yourself time after you do it. Wait for new things to come up, because that's how OCD is. It'll move the goalpost, add new things, and then I would say just time and patience and understanding. You have to be able to be like, hey, this is going to happen. This is, there's going to be some things that come up that may suck, and that's completely okay. And you just have to be, you know, you got to give yourself some compassion and stop beating yourself up all the time, and, you know, start living life on your terms. Don't do it on OCDs. If OCD's like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, this is going to happen to you, this is going to happen to you, this is going to happen to you. F it. Get up, go to work, go to the gym, spend time with friends, do things you love, okay? Because tomorrow could never come, right? If you just wait, one day you could wake up and not exist anymore, right? You just wait for the right time. The right time doesn't exist. You gotta go, you gotta get up, you gotta say, no matter what happens, no matter what OCD says, no matter what body sensations I feel, no matter what thoughts that I have, no matter how I feel, I'm gonna do what I want today. And that's what you gotta do every single day, okay? And you gotta be balanced, okay? So when I talk about balance, you know, be a little scheduled, not compulsively, you know, like get up at the same time, make your bed, eat a good breakfast, exercise 3 to 5 days a week, go to work, go to sleep at a reasonable time. I'm not saying go to sleep at 9 o'clock or anything. I don't go to bed till 1 most of the time, you know. And it's another thing, like for me too, you know, like I have lots of medical issues. I have a mineral deficiency that makes it so I don't process minerals regularly, so it causes my spine to inflame, which pinches my nerves, which can cause problems, so I have to take medication every day for it. Something I just recently found out, I have really bad sleep apnea. I currently wear a CPAP machine. I didn't really for a long time, so I have to wear a mask every night, and I have breathing OCD, which is really funny. I have really bad allergies. And it doesn't matter what I eat, I always have stomach problems. And it's not an anxiety thing, you know. I quit smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke and chew, and I quit drinking. I used to smoke, chew, and drink. I've lost, like, you know, almost 30 pounds. And you notice I'm not coughing or hacking in the video today. So if anyone wants to know why I'm not, it's because I quit smoking. So that's a good thing, right? You know, but in the past, I avoided all these things, right? You know, it's like a cup of coffee. I absolutely love coffee. You know, and I've said this before in some videos, but there's things that were so bad, that were just so uncomfortable. And some of those things, when you start to really push yourself to be uncomfortable, become some of the things you love the most, like running. You know, if you have breathing OCD, holy crap, you talk about a good exposure. And also, like, even if you're focusing on your breathing all the time, eventually it feels good, and then it starts to change your perspective, where you're like, hey, like, I can feel like this forever and be uncomfortable and live my life, right? But anyways, guys, you're not broken. There is hope. You can change, and you can accomplish anything that you want in life. You really can. I've never met a single person who has not went all in and said, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to make it happen, who hasn't done it. Never met a single person. I've met people who have half-assed it and not done it, for sure. But anyone who's went all in, whoever has went all in, has always hit their goal. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Little hype session. Let's go. Love you guys. And hope everyone has an awesome day.